Hi, this is Mr. Mabrey, and this is the explanation for the Coke versus Diet Coke experiment. As you can see from the picture on your screen, Coke obviously sank and Diet Coke floated. But how in the world did that happen? They both look like they're about the same size, and they're both filled with soda, so why would one float and one sink? Well, to answer that question, you have to remember the difference between Coke and Diet Coke. Coke is sweet because it's filled of 39 grams of sugar. That's why it's so sweet. Conversely, Diet Coke doesn't have sugar in it, it has aspartame. So much less aspartame that its density is slightly less that of water. If you need a visual to help you understand it, I've got right here, in these vials in my hands, this is all of the different 39 grams of sugar that goes to make Coke so sweet. But in this hand, this itty bitty amount right there, that's 0.18 grams of aspartame. All of this makes Coke sink because its density is slightly greater than that of water. Where Diet Coke, because it only has aspartame, it is slightly less dense than water. Now you need to sum up what I just said in your own words and write it down on your worksheet, then flip it over and we're going to take some density notes on the back. Alright, we're going to write down a couple statements now about density to help us understand density better as we examine the different physical chemical properties of objects in class this unit. So first, on your back with me, let's write this sentence down. Density is the relationship between mass and volume. If you're thinking, wait a second, what does that mean again, mass and volume? Well, mass is how much matter something has, and volume is how much space something takes up. Mass is something you're usually going to write it in grams, and volume is something you're normally going to express in milliliters or grams per centimeters cubed. Now, remembering those two things, let's talk more about that block of wood that we saw float, both the big one and the small one. So let's write our second statement down. For our second statement, statement 2, we're going to write a large block of wood floats as easily as a small block. Therefore, density is constant for a substance. I know that tricked you guys up a little bit because you saw the Coke and Diet Coke, you thought, oh, if there's more of something, maybe that's why it sunk. That's why the Coke sank. But so when it came to the large piece of wood, you were thinking, oh, this is a bigger piece of wood. I bet it's going to sink because it's got more stuff. But remember, if you're the exact same substance, it doesn't matter whether you're big or small, you're either going to float or sink the same. And now for the final statement we're going to write down that's going to help us in our understanding of density, let's write about liquids and density. Let's write less dense liquids float on top of more dense liquids. Remember that thing we saw in class the other day where I showed you oil and water and how the oil was floating on the water because it's less dense? So we're writing this statement down to remind us that liquids have density just like solids do. Alright, now that you're starting to understand density, let's take a look at a density lab that's going to take these concepts and help you apply it to objects in everyday life.